Hello everyone and welcome to the first day for our Selenium training. This is going to be the start of the first project. So the approach that we take at ITE Learn is to try and teach you this advanced and basic concepts using projects. So it is very easy for you to understand, relate, and it will become extremely interesting for you to work on parallelly as you practice. So team, for the first project, what we're going to do is we will look at the basic concepts that come into automation testing that will happen as part of using Selenium as a tool. Most importantly, the IDE, which we will look at in a few minutes. And we will also get into very, very important concepts of how we identify elements. The second project, after the first 4 or 5 days of the first project, we will get into how we use Selenium Webdriver to take it to an advanced level, and from there on we will have about 2 or 3 more projects to complete the entire training. At this point team, a quick house checking rules for everyone. We have many participants in this session, so the questions that get asked will be answered towards the end or when I give a break. I will try and keep it very interactive from my side. So I'm going to constantly ask you questions. And the way you could answer is using the question and answer section within the GoToWebinar. Anything to do with the joining of the program, the registration links, anything to do with how you enroll to get the premium membership, please contact learn@itelearn.com. The team will be ready to help you out from there on. For those of you who have joined recently, please do note that it will take up to 24 hours to get your access granted for you. If there's any delay or question, do chat with my team online, or you can also send an email. Now team, please make sure that you follow the instructions and you go in exactly the same fashion as I do, because the first day and second day are demos for many of you, but most of you are already premium members. Day 3, I will let you know the schedule. It will be later this week or early next week. And before that, there are a few videos that I want you to watch. I will let you know as we progress in these first 2 days. So let's get started with the first project and let's look at what we will do as part of the first project. So team, I have created a folder called SLT, Selenium Live Training, September 2015. In here, we're going to place all the files and folders that we create, and it will be accessible for everyone. I will only share the files once towards the end of each project. So in between, you will not have access to the files, but you will have access to the videos. So while you go back, watch the video again, you have the opportunity to do your own coding, your own execution, looking at how I've done in the video. All right, everyone. Now, for the first project, let me give you a quick overview that how we will go about starting and what is it that we will look at. We will first identify an application under test. How many of you know what's an AUT? First, we're going to identify the application under test. That application that we will be working with and making sure that we progress in the same direction, all of us on the same page. The way we will identify an application team, number one, it has to have different types of web-based elements or objects. What that will do, team, is it will give us an idea of how we can go about doing automation for different things. But more importantly, we will start with manual testing and then go advanced. This is going to be more like a second point, but under the same, identifying how do we go about identifying application is one, different types of web elements. The second factor is that application must be easy to understand for all of us. So the focus will be in learning Selenium automation. Okay, so those are the two reasons or two background sets of criteria that I use to select an application. Once we do that, team, we will go and look at manual testing. How is it that we do as manual testers? We will speak about what is automation, the fundamentals of it. Then how do we convert our manual test cases into automation test cases. All right, this is what we will try and accomplish, team, and by through doing that we will use Selenium IDE, element identification, primarily. These are going to be the two things that we will look at in the first project. This is our first project, so I'm going to write it as project 1. Some notes for us. Okay, now let's look at what the application and the test is that I've identified for this specific purpose. We will be taking southwest.com, team, and now again the question comes, why did I select southwest.com? It has got many features and fields in it that will give us a breadth of idea on various types of elements or objects that we find in an application, and it will become easy for you to really automate a lot of these things and explore a lot more. Second, it is also easy for you to understand because a lot of you would have done some kind of an airline bookings online, and it is good that this application will not be complex. So our focus will be on learning Selenium. So those are the criteria. Now, on southwest.com, what we're going to do is we're going to go and do some advanced search. If you see, team, so far I'm not talking about automation. We will talk about automation, but we will come back to it a little later. Okay, not immediately. We will start with the basics. We will do some manual testing. We will create some test cases. Then we will see how we go about automating. So far, so good, everyone. Any questions, concerns on how we are approaching so far? And as I said, team, let the questions be only relevant to what we are doing till today's session. So let's say we are in mid of project 2. Any questions that have happened before, let's say the 7th session and so on, could be asked out here. The reason this is important, team, is so that since there's so many audience members, you will not be confused as to what others are asking. So it should be relevant. Now, let's talk about how we go about identifying a test case and creating a simple template for it. I'm going to take a new Google Sheet and I will create a test case template in it, a very simple test case template. Okay, so this I'm going to say project 1. Project 1 test cases. Okay, now to create any test case, the way we will approach, team, is create the template first in a very simple manner and then see how we go about building it. For those of you who have not been exposed or do not have a good knowledge of manual testing, you do not have to worry, because what we will do is, as part of automation, we also need to focus on how manual testing needs to be done. So what is primarily a test case that we're trying to do? Test case is nothing but a bunch of steps that a user performs on an application and sees if there are specific expected results that are met or not. So for example, in this case, I can say that step number 1 is I'm going to go to the advanced air booking for southwest.com. Step number 2 is, let us say, for example, I select one way. Step number 3 is I enter a departure city, I enter an arrival city, that's 4, and I select a departure date and just click on search. Now, what is it that we will expect when this test case is created or executed? We will expect that the results come out. So that completes our overall test case. Now let us translate that into pure English. We are still in manual. We are not touching automation yet. We will towards end of today's session. So to do this, the first thing I will do is I'll create a test case ID. This is nothing but a test case unique identifier. Once we create, how many test cases do you think an application like southwest.com may have? How many test cases do you believe an application like southwest.com may have, team? Since there are so many of you in the audience, I would really expect you all to answering. Interact with me back, team. This is important. A lot, so many, 100 plus, hundreds, 10 to 20, 1,000, 5,000, 2,000. Yeah, so it's indefinite, correct? But again, it'll be in the thousands. So when you have so many test cases, you need to be able to identify which test case you're working and how is it that we have documented them. One of the primary attributes of being a very successful software engineer especially a software test engineer, to have very, very clear documentation. Okay, so I'll write what is the test case ID here. I'll write what is the description of that. I will say the test step for each of them, and I will write something called as an expected result, actual result, and the or I'll just say pass or fail out here. So what we are doing as a test case is we are testing a specific functionality of the application to make sure it is working or not. Now for this, I hope the zoom level is good. All of you can see the screen easily, the text that I'm typing especially. I'm going to do a little bit of background colors and so on so that it's very easy for you to look at and understand. Now let's call this a simple Southwest, right? So I'll just say SW underscore SW underscore 001. This is the name I have given to one test case. Okay, it's an abbreviation, SW standing for Southwest. 001 says that is the first test case. The description of this is advanced one way search. That is the description for this specific test case. Now, how many steps did you note when we did it earlier? Did we see on the application team? Go to southwest.com. What is the second step? Now this thing, both the description and test case IDs will continue to get rolled on. Then click on, this is what we will do when we are navigating as manual test engineers. Okay, the test case and steps have to be very descriptive enough so that when you work in a team of, let us say for example 10 software test engineers, you may be the one who's writing the test cases, but there may be another 5-6 of the team members who are actually going to work on them. So your documentation has to be so clear that there's no ambiguity for the ones who are executing it. Everyone understands what I'm saying? Writing the test cases and then executing them. So it need not be the same people, and hence the documentation becomes very critical. So anyone can understand. All right. Now, in this case, we're going to click on advanced search. And I'll tell you why I'm going to advanced search and not this basic search out here once we get into the automation. So we've clicked on the advanced search. Now, how many steps did we have out here approximately, everyone? 4, 5, 6, something like that, around that, correct? Steps we know for each test case approximately how many we may have. Now, I am not giving the complete template of a test case, how it looks, or a test step sheet yet. There are many, many columns that one can add, but let's start very base level and then go advanced. Okay. Now, the first thing we will do once we click on advanced search is select one way, right? So select one way. That is the second thing that we're going to do. After this, we're going to enter the departure city, enter arrival city. So enter departure city, enter arrival city. Okay, fair enough. Finally, we're going to select a date, or let's keep the date as default for this right now, and then click on search. Fair enough. So let's say we write here SFO to DFW and click on search. So I'm exactly executing it like I'm trying to document, so I know that the execution is according. If you've noted, in this test case, I have not selected the dates. I've taken the default dates as is. So here, enter this, then click on search button, verify search results. All right. Expected result is something, team, what you expect at each of the steps. You can expand them, or you can just say that, hey, when you do certain activity, you expect something. For example, when we're entering departure city, the drop down options for cities matching the entered text shows up. All right, this is the step that we will expect out here for both of them. Now, when you do verify search results, at that time, we will expect to see that select departing flight, or you'll see from where to where being shown. Shows results on a new page. Now, if I send this test case to each of you as manual test engineers, will you be able to understand and do exactly the same? As manual test engineers, if I give you this test case, let's say I created it, but I'm giving it to you, are you in a position to understand what I've written out here? Are you in a position to execute them accordingly? Yes or no? Let's look at, oh, I gave round trip. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was supposed to be one way. Let's look at how we look at each step. Do you know if I say how to go to southwest.com, will you be able to go? Yes or no? Yes, you understand this. As manual test engineers, we understand it. Now, clicking on advanced search, will you be able to figure out where that link is and how to click on it? Yes. Select one way, which we have not done in the previous step. Will you be able to figure out, looking at just the test case document, where one way is and being able to click it? Yes, so we select that. And then enter departure city. Do you know that you can enter the departure city in which field? But does it matter? Do I need to give any other further information for it to be able to effectively execute it, the departure city? Something may be missing there, right? Correct. How about the city name? If I am testing for SFO, I want you also test for SFO, not to go and test for, let's say, JFK or LAX and so on. So we're searching for a specific airport. That specific detail has to be there. So here we need test data. Test data required for this field. Okay. Now enter arrival city. Again, you require test data. Clicking on the search button, you know it is easy. You'll be able to do it very effectively. Verify search results. You know you can again look at it, and depending on the test data, what is the test data that is required to verify? What are you going to verify against? Now, is this a fair enough test case template that we can look at from a manual perspective and say that, okay, good, this is what we wanted? Yes or no, everyone? Very simple, nothing complex about it. We're not trying to create the most complicated or complete test case. Very basic to a starting level, right? So this is an easier thing to go. Now, let us say that again, we're still in the manual testing process thing. We've not yet gone to the automation, because unless you have a good documentation, good knowledge on the functionality of the application, and you've written down the test cases exactly the way they're supposed to be, you will not be able to go and make a successful automation script from it. All right, so this is where we all should start from. Now, this is one test case. How about if I want to create another test case which is very similar, but instead of advanced one-way search, I will say advanced return journey. Is it return? How is it treated here? Let's see. Round trip. Okay, we'll say advanced round trip. So I'm going to copy the same test case, all the steps as is, call this now as test case SW underscore 002. SW is the abbreviation for Southwest. And here, instead of saying advanced one-way search, I'm going to say advanced round trip search. Okay, see how easily I could do a little copy and paste, because almost all the steps are the same. There will be one step which will differ. Can you look at the row number and tell me which is that step number in the row call in the row side that will differ T? Which is that one step that will have a different step compared to the first test case? Row number. There cannot be a wrong answer to this statement. So be very conscious, listen to my words very clearly, and think about it, give the right answer. It has to be very easy for you. It cannot differ for you that way. Okay. This one, we're saying select one way out here. So the only change that we'll make here is select round trip out here. Fair enough? This is what we're going to do. Now, again, as manual test engineers, do we understand what is happening? How is it happening? Yes. So these are good test cases that we can use. Once we have created it, we can go and execute it as and when needed. When we get into project 2 and so on, I will talk a little bit more about regression testing and how we test the functionality of an application through different releases. We will do that when we come to our project 2. Project 1, very basic. We want to keep it simple. We want to take our baby steps, get our automation and fundamentals ready. Then it's easy for us to scale from there. Now, what is automation and how do we go about building something around it? What is automation, team? Can someone tell me a simple definition for it, or even an example of how automation is done in non-IT in a real life scenario? What is automation? I'm not looking at a textbook definition. I don't believe in it. It is how we try and put it into our own statement in English. What you think is automation? So the responses that I'm getting right now is using a tool to test, but automation need not be testing only. Okay, it's just automation that we're focusing on without manual input, no human needs. What I'm doing, team, I'm just reading from the comments that I'm getting in the question and answer section and go to meeting. So I'm reading them. You can't see them on the screen. Eliminating manual effort, doing repeated stuff without human intervention, machine will do instead of person, automating the set of repetitive steps. So I think we're getting amazing answers. All of these are correct. They make sense that way. It is primarily saying that we will take a process that works manually, okay, then teach a system, a tool, a program, or even a robot to perform them in the same exact manner. Fair enough? Does it make sense? Do you think I missed something in it? But what would you expect from an automation standpoint? When you do an automation, what is it that we all should expect? We will do some activity or anything in life only because if there's a benefit or a pleasure or a good outcome that we expect, right? So when we are doing this automation, what is it that we'll expect? For example, let us take a simple process of uh, manufacturing a mobile phone, like let's say Samsung, an Android phone. Do you think they're all done manually, all the parts and so on? Or are they done using some systems and tools and technologies? The factory where they get manufactured will have a shop floor or a assembly unit and a manufacturing plant where there are hundreds of robots working to manufacture them. There will be very little human intervention, correct? Simple example is a manufacturing plant. Can be a car manufacturing, a mobile manufacturing, anything. All right, a simple example. And if you look at on a daily basis, there's so many things that are automated for us. For example, instead of we having to go and switch on or off an AC or control the temperature from the AC air conditioner unit, you are able to do it using a remote control and sometimes these days even using smartphones. So we've tried to make life easier for ourselves by achieving something. What are those things that we achieve? The first thing is called efficiency, team. And little theory out here, because the concept now when we put it into teaching how a manual process to be converted to automation, it will become easy. What is efficiency? Why is it important? Efficiency is very simple. If manual testing, manual process takes 2 days, can we do it sooner using automation? You're trying to increase the speed and make sure that the process still works in a shorter time. So lesser resources used overall. Now, once I've explained this concept and I take it back and implement it into this project, it'll become very, very easy for you to relate and keep that in the back of your mind. These notes and documentations that I'm creating will be handed over to you as part of the end of each project, so you can use it for good reference as well. Now, what is the next thing? Next thing is reusability. What is reusability? Will I build $1 million robot to manufacture a specific car design and use it only once? Is that the idea? Why will we invest so much money and time and effort into something that does an activity only one time? The few things team, if you look at, is done only one time is, for example, a rocket launch. Even in that case, all the technology, all the infrastructure, the launching base, launching pad, launch station, everything is there. The only thing that gets away is your fuel and so on. But there's still reusability even to a higher extent. How many times will we reuse this specific automation? All right. So we are trying to teach a system, a tool, a program, or a robot to perform the exact same manner as manual, but we want to make sure that it is efficient. We want to make sure that there's reusability to it. For example, if I create this test cases for Southwest, I know that I will be executing it very often. Every time the application changes, I want to make sure that the application still works the way we want it to, and that is how you make sure that it meets all of this, especially when it comes to automation. Now, what is the third point that I believe is the final most important thing in terms of automation, and then we will move into how we convert this into automation from a manual testing. What is the third point? Accuracy. What is the whole point of having everything that works brilliantly well as manual testing or manual process, and you improve efficiency? The automation thing is doing it faster and it is being reused, but there's no accuracy to it. If there's no accuracy, then the whole point is waste. Must do a much better job than the manual process. It has to team. Not necessarily that all parts of automation will be 100% accurate. If you look back a few years, Toyota, one of the most trusted brands in the automobile industry, automotive industry, had a major recall. They all get manufactured and they're all very high in terms of their systems and how much of quality they look at it. Their efficiency is high, the reusability is high. Accuracy can still fail sometimes, but it has to be definitely much higher than manual process. These are the three thumb rules, team. When you do any type of an automation, you keep that in mind. Okay, it has got to be. So I call this as an ERA concept: efficient, reusable, and accurate. All right. Now, to be able to take a manual testing process, for example, this few test cases, and create an automation, you need to teach something. What is that something? That something is like a small pet or a robot. You say sit, it will sit. You say stand, stand, walk, walk. It has to take your instructions and follow. Now, this kind of things that we look at from a manual testing to automation testing, these tools are called as your functional automation testing tools. Selenium happens to be one of the top open source tool, very widely used, and it has grown in popularity in the recent few years, and it is right now one of the most desired skill in the market. And that is the reason you are all here, so that you can build it and take your career to the next level. Now that we understand from a manual testing process that this is what it is, let us look at how Selenium works. There are a few concepts of Selenium team that we will discuss. The first thing is, all of you will need to go to seleniumhq.org and look at the Selenium IDE. Selenium IDE is a simple plugin or an add-on that comes with your FireFox browser. So number one, you want to make sure that you have FireFox. Okay, installing Selenium IDE. Okay, for this, the first step is get the latest version of Firefox. Second, Selenium IDE. What is IDE team? An integrated development environment. Little techie term for you to understand right now. Do not worry about some of these terms. As we go along, it will become easy. I don't expect you to remember a lot of technical stuff that I discussed right away. It takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of time for you to get used to and really get the understanding. But I'm just writing it for your future notes. All right. So Selenium, get the latest version of Firefox, get the Firefox add-on for Selenium IDE by going to seleniumhq.org. That is the home page, team, where everything to do with the latest releases and versions of Selenium are being handled out there. I'm going to take a quick 1 minute or 10 seconds break to see if everyone is comfortable. If there's anything that we look at that's an issue in terms of audio or visual, I hope all are good out here. I got a good answer saying that apart from efficiency, reusability, accuracy, good salary also for automation. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go, team. Let's continue. Now, I've shown you seleniumhq.org. I've shown you where Selenium IDE is, and it's very simple. It is not going to be a complex thing at all. You just want to click on Selenium IDE. It'll take you to that specific page, and once you say download Selenium, it will install it as an add-on on your Firefox. Very simple process, very simple step. Now, Selenium team, if I can use my paint brush, and we're starting with IDE because that's a great area for us to start, and we'll look at basics of automation. Selenium is all about trying to take a manual process and how easily we can do an automation out of it. This is what the tool will do. To be able to do this, the first and foremost thing is how good is your manual testing process? How good is your test case? Is it correct or not? If it is not correct, then your automation will also not be correct. It will be inaccurate. You'll not get the best results. The second is when we're doing automation, we have to make sure that we give the right instructions. Selenium by itself is a very flat or a dumb tool. It has no IQ for itself. It does not have an artificial intelligence. There is no IQ for it. Okay, but it is a very powerful tool. It is a great student. It will listen to you. It will follow instructions and do exactly like you say. That means that how you give instructions become very, very important. All right. Now let's open Selenium IDE and look at how the basic fundamental tool looks like. Once you have downloaded Selenium HQ IDE from seleniumhq.org and install it as an add-on on Firefox, if you go under Tools, you will find the Selenium IDE in the Tools menu bar. Do you all see it? Once we open it, you will notice a window very similar to the one that you see as a screenshot here. The tool has gone through significant amount of changes since the first time it was done. I don't believe this screenshot on the website reflects it. But what reflects it is this UI. What is the UI, team? What is the UI? Can someone tell me what's an UI? It is the user interface. User interface is how you see things and how you use a specific tool. At this point, team, a quick question. Do you think you'll need to master everything on this specific window called Selenium IDE? Is that something that is important for you to master? It is, but over a period of time. What we're going to do is explore small things at a time, look at how the tool works, one component at a time. Then it will become very, very easy for you to do anything. Fair enough, everyone? The first thing that I want you to focus here is this specific bar out here. Okay, this controls something called as speed of execution and what test cases you want to run. We'll keep that there, but most important is this red button on the right side. Do you all see this red button? This button is basically saying that recording is on. When it says a recording is on, it means that right now Selenium is in a student mode and it is ready to understand what we are doing and learn from us. Okay, in the paint, if you saw, I did tell you that it's a student. We got to give it the instructions what we have to do and what it has to do. Then it will go about following and executing it. So if we are giving the instructions, it has to know what those instructions are. The first way of doing it, team, is through a simple record. This is something that we will do it only for the first 1-2 sessions. Recording a test case in, so this one, what I'll do is recording a test case in Selenium IDE. I'm not gonna put all the notes for this because we'll look at it live and we'll work on it. What was I saying? I was talking about recording mode, right? So yeah, I was saying that recording is not a desirable feature that we as experts in automation testing will use, be it qtp, be it load runner, uft, selenium, whatever be the tool. It is one of the most basic components that is given for absolute beginner level manual test engineers, not for the ones that you will become in the next 3 weeks. You're going to go very advanced, but this is a great starting point for us to see how things work. Now, I'm going to do something out here, team. I'm going to put Selenium window on one side. I'm going to re shape this browser to this way. I will start going to southwest.com from the beginning, from the first step, and execute exactly the same thing the way we did it. Right now, the most important thing for you to note is the recording on? So you click on this red button, it will become darker red. It is off right now. Okay. Now we're saying recording is on by clicking on it. And that means that Selenium is in a learning mode. It is trying to learn what we do. Observe what happens on the right side when I do the manual testing steps that we created on the left side in this window. The first step, we went to southwest.com. That's fine. We'll keep it there as is. The second step, if you remember, was to click on advanced search. Once I click on advanced search, do you notice that this specific white area, which was totally blank, is getting filled with some information? For a lot of your team, this must be basic. You must have already seen some of these videos, but it does not matter because this is your foundation. Your foundation must be very strong. Once you master this thing, right, everything else from here will become easy. You try and jump levels, then it will become tough. Okay, so we have to go in the same fashion. So our test case one was for one way, right, everyone? So I'm going to click on one way out here. You see every operation that I perform on the application, it is also being captured in this white screen out here. Yes, everyone. Now, the from airport, let us say I select LAX. As soon as I type LAX, I get the suggestion box with what can be the airports near and around LAX. I'm going to select Los Angeles, California, LAX. Okay. Then I will tab from here and again observe what happens on the right side. Do you see, team? There's a specific set of instructions that are getting captured. Why is it getting captured? Because it's in the recording mode. What is the importance of it? Selenium is learning. IDE is learning from the instructions, or rather steps that I'm executing in a very simple way. And let's say that here I do EWR or NEWARK. Okay. And what was the next step after this, team? I'm going to tab again and you will see that getting filled up. What is the next step? Next step is to click on search. And the final step is to verify that specific information has come here. This step, team, I will leave it away from automation for now. We will be doing it in the coming few 1 or 2 sessions. But right now, we are seeing if it has captured all this information and it has put it into this. Now, what did we just do, team? We taught Selenium on how one test case is going to be executed. Fair enough, we thought that. Now what we will do is this test case, which is documented in a specific way out here in our manual testing process, is now being understood by Selenium in a different format, which we will come to. So the first thing, stop the recording and rename this test case. It is right now saying untitled. I will go to property, right click on it, go to properties, and here instead of saying title is untitled, I'll say this SW_001. What is the next step that you would want to do before you continue forward, team? Let's say you teach someone even simple mathematics for your kids. What is the first thing you will try and do? Test it and see if what you've taught has been understood by your student. In this case, Selenium is the student, that is the one which is learning depending on what we're doing. And then you will see that as we go along, Selenium is such a wonderful student that it will start to take instructions in different fashion and do some real wonders, which will show you why the tool is popular. So now that we have created the test case, we have done a record, we will do an execution. So to play the current test case is nothing but to execute. Now I'm saying Selenium can you show me what I've asked you to learn, and I want to see if you've done it the correct way. So I'm going to click on this play current test case and let's see what happens. So do you see on the left side, the window is automatically navigating. It is going to southwest.com. It's probably clicked on advanced search, and within a fraction of a second, a lot of this is done. Why did it do it so quickly? If it does not do it quickly, then our efficiency is bad, right? It has to be quick. As a manual test engineer, I might have taken a minute to do this, but Selenium took under 10 seconds to do it. That is a great feature that Selenium brings. Do we want to see it in such a way that it goes that fast? I am testing to see how they're learning, right? Oh, hold on, Selenium, go slow, go slow. Don't be in a hurry right now because I'm still seeing if you're doing exactly what I said. So I can decrease the speed of execution from fast, oops, from fast, come on, okay, to a little slow and redo this. So if you noticed him, we did the recording one time and we are able to run it multiple times. So we are reusing it. All right, we are reusing everything and now it is showing one step at a time. If you've noticed, team, there is a specific color changes that have happened on this screen when the testing was done. Sorry, when the execution, when the test case was being played or run. The step that was getting executed was getting highlighted in yellow. That's just a feedback back to us as viewers that we are executing this step currently. The ones which once they get executed, they get changed to green. And you will see at the end of the run that we did one run, there was no failure. This is the simplest form of a simple record and to create a test case. But now let's take a deeper look at what is this. What is this that Selenium understood when we did a record? How did it know what to do? Now, let me take a quick look at the question and answer section. If I'm missing anything, I'm thankful for my technical team also to be present. So they are continuing to answer any questions that I could not get to. All right, I think we're good. My test case is incomplete. Yeah, that's correct. I have not completed my test case as I mentioned. So please, team, all ears on me because I'm telling exactly what I'm doing and also why I'm doing this. Now, when you need to teach, very simple example, team. Let us say that you got a new intern into the office, intern who's just joined, and you want the intern to go and help you out in doing a small system switch on, switch off. So, what is the instruction that you would give to this intern? You will have to say, step one first is go to second floor, for example. So, when I'm saying this, what are the two things that I'm mentioning? Oops, my D is so bad out here. Go to second floor. So, there is a go out here and there is a second floor. Okay. Second is open room number 301. All right. Third step is, so I'm giving this instructions to an intern who's just joined the office. Okay. Switch on system X. I'll just say system name is X, for example. Okay. And then for send a text. Please forgive my painting skill right now. Send a simple text confirming that you've done it. Okay. Now, what do you think is very common in all these three things which can be broken down? Which can be easily broken down. If you look at it is go, open, on, send. What are these things, team? These things are like instructions that we're giving. What to do? There is this answers basically for us. What is it that one would like to do? Eraser. Let me use a different color for this. Okay, thank you. I can use different color. Okay. We are out here answering a question called what to do. it is giving an instruction, or you're given an instruction saying what you're supposed to, or what you're wanting to do. What is the second criteria out here? If you look at, where is it that you have to perform an operation, or the specific what, that is the where portion. Anytime team, if you look at automation, it is only broken down into these two parts: what and where, what and where, what and where. When you're giving instructions, they have to be clear, so they know exactly what has to be done, where it has to be done. You give any of these instructions in a, you make a mistake, other steps may not run. Let us say instead of the system X being in room 301, it is actually in 302. Now it will go to 301, it will try to open the 301, it will get in, but it will not find the system X to switch it on. So there the issues will come. So the instructions that automation gives is basically what to do and where to do it. Once that clarity is there, it becomes easy. Is it clear, team? Are you understanding the basic fundamentals of automation testing? Not testing, automation at least. We've not come into the testing part yet. Automation, testing, AT. We will focus a lot on automation. Testing is a very, very simple activity once we mastered automation. Okay. There's a third thing, team, that is important. Here, I said second floor, you know exactly where it is. Okay, what you want to do. 301, enough. You're saying that where the room is, that's number is 301. System X, you know it. Now here, you're going to put a text. What is the text that you're going to put? You're going to send a text message saying that system is switched on. What is the message? The message is system is turned on. That's it. That's the message. That becomes your additional information that we provide. So what is it that the automation or the intern who's trying to learn something for the first time does, and where is it that he or she does it, and any additional information that is needed? That is the fundamental concept of automation in anything, any concept we take. The same thing, team, is reflected and captured in this beautiful tool called Selenium IDE. So that is making our life easy. The command that you see, the first column, is the what portion. The target that you see is the where portion. The value that you see out here is the additional information that we're giving. Does it make sense, team, now? Exactly like humans try and learn new things, Selenium is also taking notes. How is it taking notes? When it is in a record mode, it will automatically look at what we are doing, where is it that we are doing a specific activity or command, and if there's any additional value. So if you go to each command, you'll be able to maybe make some sense to it. You have some references out here. You also have the other tabs like log, element, rollups, and so on. You can ignore them. Don't focus too much on those things right now. Reference may be just to read some basic English, but the definitions are so textbook like and long that it can confuse you. Then how is it that we will learn? We will learn it by practicing, by starting small, then building one after the other. So commands, just focus on this command column team. It looks very repetitive. We opening something, we click and wait for something, we click here, type here, click here, type here, click. So these are the activities that we're performing. This team, if you look at in our test case, where's the test case? There is a lot of similarity in these steps out here and these steps out here. This is pure English, the way we understand. You and me can understand this as manual test engineers. These are specific instructions that Selenium IDE can understand. What we did today was a simple record team of one test case and we executed it. Now let us continue to do the same record for one more test case, but tomorrow we will not do a record. We will write our own test cases in IDE. Now we know the fundamental concepts of automation. It will become easy for us to do that. But before I let you all get into a Q&A round with me, let me do one more test case. The same thing, the test case SW0_002. All right. The only difference, everything is the same, just the round trip, instead of being one way, it's going to be round trip. I'm going to do the same record. Why? So that it is easy for you to understand how we're doing things. So we start with southwest dot oh, new test case. First thing, right click here and just say new test case team. Okay, and here I'm gonna, even before I do the record, I'm gonna go to the properties by right clicking on the test case and call this as SW underscore 002. And now make sure that the recording is turned on. Let's go to southwest.com because that is where we will start with. Let's click on advanced search. Did you see anything happening out here, team? Nothing so far, right? Once we click on advanced search, then notice the command open has come and it says target is just a slash. It basically says the root folder for this URL, wherever it is. Anytime you notice, team, that I've used a technical word, just do not get alarmed. It is just a matter of time that some of these things will sync. You will not become an expert immediately, but if you capture 70-80% of what I'm saying and be able to go back and practice on it, that is sufficient. Very important for you all to follow instructions and make sure that you're learning the way I'm proposing, team. Thank you so much. Now, next thing is round trip. Now see what happens. I clicked here. It got a command called click. What is this target ID equals round trip? That is something you and I still don't understand. We will do it tomorrow. It will become easy for you. Okay. Next is I'm going to enter out here. See, I clicked out here and it came here, right? So I'll just say, let's say, for example, O'Hare, midway. Okay. And I'm going to tab. As soon as I do a tab, now observe it. I have typed something. It somehow understood what the target is. That is the tricky area that we've not yet come to. But the value is clear. Whatever value I've put here is there. And here, instead of EWR, I'm going to say JFK and select JFK. Let me just take LaGuardia. Okay, tab again and observe what's happening. Finally, click on search. Did I miss any test step from what we expected from manual process to here? No. So this we did not. Now see, we did not perform one step correctly. It gave us a wrong result because there was no automatic return date. It captured that it was one way from previous and it did not put this. So return date is important for a round trip and it must be there as part of the test case itself. Now we have created our next test case as well. Let's try and play this and see if it works. Why am I running this test case? We did something, we taught Selenium, we need to go back and confirm if it has learned what we've said. The good part is that when we did this, it was easy for us to see how it was learning, and for it to repeat it back, it's a very easy process. Fair enough, everyone? Now, this is the first background of it. Before I let you all get into the Q&A round, I just want one small instruction, team. There are sufficient free videos. Even if you're not yet a premium member on IT Healer, you still will be able to watch some of these. As the sessions go along, I will be constantly requesting you to watch a few of the videos because it will enhance your learning. If you've noticed, my speed of execution for today has been very slow. I get very at a snail pace. The reason I did it is so that this concept gets into you. As we go along, the speed will gradually increase. You need to be working parallelly, practicing parallelly to be really staying in touch. All I'm asking, team, is about a couple of hours a day. 1 hour live lecture, 1 hour practice while you're rewatching the video or so on. Now, on the online courses, please do go to Selenium training videos. That is where they're hosted. Just FYI, team, a new version of itelan.com is going to be rolled out very soon. It is right now getting tested through the UFT Live project that is ongoing. So about 60 people from our HP UFT Live project are testing the new version on a test server. And once the bug fixing everything is done, we will be rolling it out. So out here, if you look at either the Selenium training videos or any fast track, they're all organized depending on the batches. Always take the latest ones, team, because the applications, the versions of different tools that I use will be all current. So click on Selenium training videos. That is the base folder where all the videos are present. And I want you to try and watch just a couple of quick sessions, team, out here. In fact, not even in this. I don't want you to get into Java or anything to do with Ant or JUnit right away. That is something we will do later. Let me say this. So team, while doing this, please feel free to make sure that any questions that you have, you can continue to ask. I will answer them as and when it's possible. So Selenium IDE, this is fine. I don't need this. Should be this, or should have been the Selenium fast track. I will send an email across team. I will shoot an email with the video that I'm asking you to watch. There is specific videos that I've created on element identification. So element identification videos I'm going to share with you all so you can start watching. Some of you not premium members, please do note that tomorrow I'm going to give you a few more videos to watch before day 3. You will have to be into the premium membership to be able to watch them. For today, that's fine. We should be fine to go even for tomorrow's session. uh, the video that I want you to watch, I'm going to share it with you over the email, so please expect that in the email. Very good. Questions, please. Any questions that have come up so far? For every test case, would I have to create new test case on Selenium IDE? That is correct. You will create a new test case on Selenium IDE. You're right, Pavnia. We missed the return date. In terms of browsers, Selenium IDE works only with Firefox. It does not work with other browsers. Selenium IDE. Selenium Webdriver, and when you do your own programming, be it in Java, JUnit, Ruby on Rails, or .NET or whatever, you can then execute it on multiple browsers. Are you going to send all these videos? I do not send the videos. You will have to go to the website, click on the latest batch, and you'll find the videos there too. All right. We will send you the link once again over email. It will become easy for everyone. Is the Selenium testing be carried only on Firefox? No, IDE is only on Firefox. Who are premium members? Premium members are the members who have paid and who have joined the program, be it the live training, be it videos, or even the live project. So videos is the base component team, that is your starting point. From there, you can upgrade to live training. Then you can also upgrade to live project. But the base is videos. You need the access to the videos for sure. How do you do one step at a time run in Selenium? Can you repeat it? I did not do one step at a time. I just slowed the speed down. Okay. I just said run it slowly. If you want to be able to ask Selenium to go one step at a time, team, you will do something called as a breakpoint. I will show that feature to you tomorrow. You will set something called as a breakpoint. The test will run till that section and wait for our instruction. We will look at it in tomorrow's session. Let's see what other questions are there. Is this training useful for people who are already members and have access to recorded videos? Primarily, the content will be almost the same. The only two differences is the applications may change and the fact that I may be using the latest versions. Videos is the most desired thing that almost all trainees who come for ITL and capture team. When it comes to live, it is always optional, because if you look at it, only 50% of the live participants stay till the end of the batch because they go back to watching it comfortably over videos. So it is your call. The reason live a lot of people prefer is there is a schedule. When it is given to their own will and wish that, hey, watch whenever you want, they don't put that discipline to it. They believe if they're part of a live program, there's more discipline to it. That is why they join. Can we use Selenium IDE on any other browser? No, I've answered that. IDE, no. I registered for live Selenium live project. Am I premium member? Yes. Most clients do not use, so I've answered that. IDE is not the tool. It's just a starting point. WebDriver is the tool. Once you get there, you can run your tests on any browser that you want. One of the great features about Selenium is it is very, very good at cross-browser testing the same application and seeing how it behaves on multiple browsers. Why didn't the test fail when return is not given? So I did not go and test to see the final step. So for example, in here, when the return journey I didn't give, it gave me this error, right? Had I put, let's say for example, the return out here, just a random number, and click on search, the last step in each of these test cases, if you've noticed, is verify search results, verify search results. I have not yet automated. Let us say that that portion also got automated and I'm verifying this text to be present. If this text is not going to be present, then it will throw an error. Until then, it will not. So we have not yet gone to testing it. That's why I've kept it aside. I'll tell you why the testing is not performed prematurely. Testing, automation testing needs to be done, team, after you're sure that your program is working correct. That's when you know if the results can be exported. Whatever skill you need, be it Java, Selenium IDE, WebDriver, and all that, will be part of the training. Most of them we will do it live. Some of them I will ask you to go through some basic concept videos that will make it easy for us to go at a higher speed. SLT is Selenium Live Training. That's a short abbreviation that I gave for this folder. The Selenium IDE execute multiple test cases at the same time. You're talking about parallel testing, Ramesh. When we use things like TestNG and so on, you can do it. Do I need to install any other things in Firefox? Yes, we will also install something called as Firebug. I'm going to show you tomorrow. Before that, I would request all of you to just watch a few basic videos. I will share the link with you. In fact, I believe that link is already shared here as part of the prerequisites. So you go under the events, go to Selenium Webdriver live training. This is where you will also see the hosted videos. The orientation session is here, and the day one also will get uploaded out here, team. So you can watch both of them. There should be, there you go. Click here to watch the prerequisite videos of Selenium WebDriver Java live training batch videos. Okay, here I have a few of them, so I'll make sure that that's correct and come back. All right, team. Last few questions which are relevant to the session that we're doing. As I said, it has to. I'm sorry, it has to be relevant to the session that we're doing. Any other questions have to go to the sales team. Please write them at learn at IT Learn. Karthik, long access to video. Video. I don't know what you mean. How much programming knowledge we need? Whatever you need is part of the program, so you don't have to worry. Live training or video? What do you suggest? Okay, this is my suggestion, team. If you're someone who's disciplined, who you believe will put that 1-2 hours dedicatedly every day, consistently, go for videos. If you're someone who believes that I need a schedule and I need to be able to hear Karthik or see what he's doing live and also get the videos, go for the live. If it's not a convenient time because we have participants from different parts of the globe, it is not the best time for everyone, then you can go for videos as well. Videos are not for download, they're only for online play. Let me see only relevant questions and answer them, please, now. We use WebDrive more than IDE nowadays. Of course, our course will concentrate more on WebDrive than IDE. Correct. So we will not focus on IDE, team, just 1 or 2 sessions. Today we did record, tomorrow we'll not even do a record, but we'll still learn. It becomes easy to learn using an IDE, team, for our learning. Then taking it into WebDrive is just like a switch on, switch off. And from there, we can really fly. Can you take 2 or 3 classes a week so it will be easier for me to catch up because I'm working full time? And I'm sure, Sohag, just like you, there will be many other participants who may be in a similar thing. We will try and do at least 4 classes a week. May not be 5 every week, at least 4. As and when needed, we will give the break so you have enough time to practice. But do note, team, you will have to put in at least a couple of hours. That will do wonders for it. Do we use Selenium IDE in live project? No, you don't. These they have videos with subtitles in Spanish. John, sorry, I don't. Um, and don't ask me about training duration, how many days, and so on that I've already mentioned in the orientation session. Please watch them. From where am I reading all these questions? This is coming from the Q&A section, team. You cannot see them because all attendees have been muted. The reason I don't open it up is a lot of times the questions will be confusing to the others. So some questions I'm not even reading because I believe they have been already answered or not relevant. Difference between Firebug and Firepath, I'll come to it. Okay. How long access to videos? Again, guys, no any questions not related to today's session, please take it to the IT Learn team. Yeah, we need 5 please to complete fast. So that's the turmoil. We'll do at least 4. Version of Firefox that Selenium IDE is compatible with. Just take the latest one. Don't worry. And take the latest IDE. It should be fine. Worst case, there'll be a fix that will come up very soon. Some people saying 3 classes per week. Some are saying 5. Let's go somewhere in between and do at least 4 classes a week. Just try and spend time, team. Like I'm showing, spend time on what I'm giving instructions. It should be fine from there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for such an overwhelming presence for the day 1. I look forward to day 2. Same link, same time. I'll see you back. Thanks, everyone. Bye then.